I agree with what you're saying. I agree with what you're saying. Stop agreeing with yourself. Stop agreeing with yourself.
Hello and welcome to Glass Half Full Reviews, the optimistic fanboy review show. And I kind of missed the boat a little bit on the whole Guardians of the Galaxy review thing, because I had stuff going on and I kind of missed seeing it for a week or so. And by the time that happened, everyone had already written about 400 reviews of the movie. So I feel like there's not really a point to just reviewing it at this point in a spoiler-free way, because everyone's already seen it. Well, or, you know, they probably have already seen it. So instead, I'm going to give a little bit of tops. My top 5 most awesome moments in the movie, and my top 5 least awesome moments. So, why don't we get started with most awesome? yes, that'll do. That'll do quite nicely. Let's start with number 5. Number 5. I have a plan too. Of course, before we get started, I should obviously say there are going to be spoilers here. So, I mean, yes, there will be a lot of spoilers, because I'm going to be just talking about moments from every single part of this movie. So my number 5 part is called I Have a Plan Too, and it may be my favorite scene in the movie, in which they're all sort of standing around that circle, and Peter Quill brings up that he has a plan as well to stop Ronan, and everyone on the team gets to have a little joke in there. It's really great. I think I'm going to link a YouTube video, one of the official clips, down below, assuming it's still up, so you can see the entire of the little snippet of the scene. Of course, right after all this sort of funny like little back and forth, it goes straight into something real serious where he's talking about, yeah, I guess we kind of want to sacrifice ourselves. You have Gamora saying, you know, I have lived my life around enemies. It'll be an honor to die with friends. Drax, ready because he's going to see his wife and kids again, really hits you. And then Rocket breaks the tension. We're all standing in a circle like a bunch of idiots. That is why that was an awesome moment. Let's move on. Number 4, the dance-off. So, obviously, I think everybody knows what I'm talking about here. That great moment at the end where everyone's crash-landed and Ronan comes out with his, the deep stentorian voice. And now everyone on this planet will perish. What are you doing? What are you doing? The whole concept of the dance-off was hilarious because it was funny just to watch, and because I heard a good explanation that it kind of like short-circuited something in Ronan's brain, because he's like, whatever, if there's fear, if there are people attacking me, I can deal with that. I don't understand what is this thing you mortals call dance? So, again, you know, just like Kevin Bacon, it really just, not only was it hilarious, but it just fit so well with all the characters. It just was like a perfect combination of everything that had come in the movie to hit that completely perfect resolution. Of course, that leads us to the next one. Number 3, the power of friendship. Of course, this whole concept is like the cheesiest thing ever, that somehow they managed to control the uncontrollable Infinity Stone with basically literally the power of friendship. Because they're connected to each other, they're actually able to hold on to it long enough to destroy Ronan. And it's crazy. It's such a corny thing. If you told someone that was going to be the way that they defeat an enemy, you'd be like, that sounds stupid. But oh my god, it built up so well. The music was perfect in that scene. The way that they built up the different characters, the connection that he has a vision of his mom. Is it a hallucination? Is it not? Doesn't really matter. It just worked so perfectly. It really just is another great emotional moment that just feels awesome. And that brings us to number 2. Number 2, the opening. So, I'm not even really talking about the original opening, which is, you know, the kid who's crying and his mom is dying and he gets abducted. I mean, that's a nice sort of really emotional hit. And when I rewatched this movie for the second time, it actually hit me a little worse because I already knew exactly what was going to happen in the rest of the movie. But the opening I'm talking about is the next part, where you see Star-Lord has landed on this creepy planet and there's this weird music playing and it's all like it's a kind of creepy ambiance. But then he takes off his mask, starts playing Come and Get Your Love, and the title comes on the screen. He starts singing into animals, kicking other ones. It's just amazing. It sets us up completely perfectly for the rest of the movie. Just the mix of cutting in humor over something serious. I mean, it's just a great way to get started. And I really enjoyed seeing it even the second time. So that works pretty well. But that brings us to number 1. Number 1, Groot Cocoon. So yes, my most favorite, most awesome moment of this movie is the Groot Cocoon in which our big tree friend sacrificed himself to save the team. And man, this moment was insanely emotional. The music with the choir and just the way that Rocket is finally expressing real emotion, that it's like sadness, loss. You know, yeah, there's part of you that's like, well, okay, he's probably not going to really die, but there's also sort of even a little bit of a question. But not even just that, because he's willing to sacrifice himself. He doesn't know that he's necessarily going to survive. So it just works really well. And of course, the thing that Groot is saying, that we are Groot, it's another great expression of this theme in the movie about friendship. And he's explicitly saying it, of course, in a simplified way. That's what really works well for me. Right. So that's what was really awesome about this movie. But what were my least awesome moments? Number 5. My father is not my father. So, I had a few quibbles here and there with this movie. There is no such thing, of course, as a perfect movie. And a couple points here and there I didn't think were that great. But one of the ones that kind of irked me a little bit, especially when I saw it again, because it just seemed like it was timed a little oddly, was when Gamora said, yes, well, my father never really emphasized diplomacy. It's like, wait, are you talking about Thanos? Oh, he's not my father. You just said your father. It's just a weirdly written line. I think it could have been done a lot better. So it was confusing. And if she wasn't talking about Thanos, then why did she say that in her first line? I just felt like it wasn't done that well. So it was a little confusing. There was a little bit of a muddled backstory to Gamora. That was part of the problem. And I think a little bit of that was exemplified in that moment. But let's move on. Number 4. I won't be your slave anymore. So, okay, so I get why this happened, where the Collector has this kind of like a slave girl of sorts, and she basically gets so mad that she decides to essentially escape by blowing herself up. Maybe she thinks it's going to kill the Collector too. It's kind of confusing. I mean, doesn't he already have an Infinity Stone from the end of Thor 2? It just seems like a weird choice. I mean, I kind of get it in sort of like, well, look, let's see what happens so we can demonstrate how strong this thing is. To me, it was a little weird. It just seemed out of character. I mean, I thought the Collector thing was supposed to be able to hold this stuff pretty well. He already has one. Where's the other one? I don't know. It didn't work for me. I mean, Benicio del Toro, I thought he was pretty great. I did also kind of like the end tag, but that little moment, didn't quite work. Number 3. You're not human. Again. Okay, so there are a lot of points in the movie which sort of hint at Peter Quill, not really being entirely human. Obviously, even from the beginning, this idea, your father came down, your daddy, he was an angel, made a ladder, or whatnot. And obviously, when we see at the end that Yondu and the Ravagers were supposed to be hired to take Peter to his father, so we have to assume he's somebody in space, and he's probably not a human if he was hired, to take Peter to this mysterious father, because why would he take him to another human somewhere else? It doesn't really make sense. So I thought that was fine, but then we have that little stinger where Glenn Close is saying, oh, look, there's something weird about your DNA. Yes, part of it's human, the other is ancient, powerful, something we've never seen before. Maybe that's why you were able to hold the stone for as long as you did. Really? It just strikes me as someone was reading the script and I don't understand. Wait, are you saying he's half human and what? Can we make it a little more clear? It just seems like maybe even someone just decided to add it in that day because they were just confused by the character. It just struck me as after the fact, unnecessary padding, unnecessary exposition, just kind of awkward. So that didn't really work for me. Number 2, Thanos on the screen. Now, I think I might be a little bit in the minority here, but I actually did like the little scene where we see Thanos and he just sort of is presenting some kind of villainous intent, this feeling of, power. He doesn't even get up from his chair, but he speaks in that, kind of great Josh Brolin way. And I don't know, when he shows up on the screen later and Ronan's like, I'm coming for you now. I'm gonna kill you, Thanos. But Thanos says literally nothing. I mean, does he have any of the Infinity Stones? Is he thinking, well, maybe he can kill me now? There was nothing. It just seemed like, does he not care? I just would have liked to have seen something. Either of the, you think that's going to be good enough to kill me? Or anything just to give us more about Thanos' character. Hanging up didn't tell us anything. So I just would have liked to have seen a little bit more. Number 1. Why did they have to kill him? Oh, there was one guy in this movie who died. And it was the saddest death of the movie. That's right. Talking about the death of Peter Serafinovich. Doesn't matter who he played some kind of Nova officer. And it doesn't matter that his death might have had some kind of impact on Rocket or whoever. I'm saying Peter Serafinovich is one of the funniest comic actors alive. And it's just sad that he can't be in the sequel because I love that guy. So yeah, that wasn't awesome. It wasn't awesome to see Peter Serafinovich die. Hey, maybe they can bring him back as a robot for the sequel. Yeah, you never know with this sort of Marvel comic thing. Anyway, that's my top 5 best and top 5 least awesome moments from Guardians of the Galaxy. In general, I thought the movie was really awesome. So, these are all my little nitpicks. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for stopping by.